Happy Tuesday. I'm Bailey Warfield live in Grand Portage, and this is The Lift. Hello and welcome to a live on location version of The Lift. I'm Bailey Warfield, and for the last few days I have been on the trail of the 40th John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon. We're here at the finish line in Grand Portage, and this is where we will spend the next half hour together. So let's get you up to speed about where we're at in the race. It was a race of the Aarons. Aaron Eiley crossed the finish line first just after 10 this morning, and Aaron Ultimus followed about 10 minutes later. Canadian musher Jesse Terry arrived third. So far we have 8 of 11 mushers in, and I am thrilled to be joined by now two-time Beargrease champion Aaron Eiley. Thanks for taking a few minutes for us.
Yeah, for sure. You're welcome.
You got a shower in, I hear.
Yes, I got a shower in. It was good. It's nice to be clean after so many days on the trail with the dogs.
Absolutely. So you've had a little time to digest since you came across the finish line at 10 this morning. How are you feeling about your second win?
Excited and proud of the team. The dogs did so well. It was a tough, challenging course. I mean, it is every year, just in different ways. Sometimes you have too much snow. In this case, this year we had too little snow, and so it's always something new, something different. But yeah, just really proud of the dogs and the work we put in to get here.
We talked a little earlier, but you and Aaron Ultimus were pretty neck and neck for that home stretch. What does that say about people named Aaron?
We must be a tough group of individuals there, but no, Erin, she's a good person and a great musher, and it was an exciting last couple legs there. You know, she's making up time on me, and then this last leg especially, I'm going and I'm looking over my shoulder to see if she's coming up behind me and just hoping I'm going to make it across the finish line ahead of her. Yeah.
So tell me about that moment that you realized you were going to win the 2025 Beargrease.
Yeah, so, you know, I had in my mind that it was going to be 32 miles, and we have these GPS units on our sled that tell us how far we've gone. Okay. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh, I got like 3 miles left to go. And then all of a sudden, I'm out on the highway, and I see the sign for the lodge, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It means we're done, you know, we got to come like 300 yards and we finished. And yeah, it was a great feeling to not only be done with a tough race 2 miles earlier than you thought, but to be done in first place was pretty cool.
So tell me a little bit about your team. Were there any MVPs on it this year?
Yeah, the team as a whole, it's a really young, nice group of dogs. There's 4 yearlings on the team, and there were also 4 2-year-olds, and so lots of young talent there. And you know, a couple of those yearlings made it to the finish line with 2-year-olds. Shout out to a couple of lead dogs, Juliet and Bubba. They led most of the way together, and yeah, it's a fun group to hang out with. Really enjoy being out there with the dogs, doing what they love doing so much.
Yeah. So you all had to start with fewer dogs than usual from Two Harbors to Finland. How do you feel like that affected or didn't really affect the race?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I guess because everybody was in the same boat, so it didn't really affect the race. You know, it was interesting, and I think it was a good way to make sure everybody got out and on the trail safely. Because yes, there was low slow, and so yeah, having fewer dogs, it made it safer for us to manage the team well. And so it was an interesting dynamic going up, and then having some of your team resting and some of your team are chomping at the bit ready to go in Finland there. So put them together, and off you go down the trail with like a whole freshly boosted team. So it was interesting, but I think it worked out well.
Nice to have fresh legs going into the overnight stretch. I'm sure there where it was a little faster for you. So what treats were awaiting the dogs back at the trailer after you crossed the finish line?
Yeah, they got the all-you-can-eat meal there. So it was a combination of ground beaver, ground venison, and dog kibble with some water to make a good stew for dogs.
Wow, delicious. How about you? Any treats for you for finishing first?
Gatorade and Doritos. So wow. That worked out. Yeah, worked out well for everybody. Dogs is probably a little healthier than mine, though. Wow.
Breakfast of champions. Well, congratulations again. I appreciate the time.
For sure.
Thanks, Aaron. And on Sunday night, the Beargrease 120 wrapped up. With the change in starting location, that race was actually 72.5 miles. Rita Wesler won, crossing the finish line at 9:51 p.m. 2023 Beargrease 120 winner Joanna Oberg came in about 7 minutes later, placing second with a team of Wesler's dogs.
Been running the Beargrease for 20 some years. and 2022 was my first win, and so it's real fun to repeat that. And it was even more special that I trained 2 teams all season.
Wesler and Oberg also won the Spirit of the John Beargrease Award this year. That award honors those who help fellow mushers or demonstrate the spirit of John Beargrease, the race's namesake. 14 mushers completed the mid-distance race. 14-year-old Elena Frecking won Rookie of the Year and beat her dad, Blake, by 5 seconds. Way to go. Well, still ahead until just a few days ago, we weren't certain that teams would leave the starting line at all. Next, we'll look back at the start and what it took to get here to Grand Portage. The 40th running of the Beargrease definitely looked a little different than any others in recent memory, particularly at the front end. Let's go back to the start.
These ones are we doing? I would do so much more.
Todd Manistone, who was also the cloquet postmaster.
We're gonna go to the dogs.
That was from the starting line Sunday morning in Two Harbors. Now, marathon teams typically go out with 12 dogs pulling the sled, but the snowpack, as you've heard, was pretty thin on the first about 40 miles of trail. So organizers changed the rules, saying that teams could choose to do that first leg with 6, 7, or 8 dogs, and they had the option to add a second sled for the most treacherous first section. Once they got to the Finland checkpoint, marathoners could bring their full team out on the trail for the last about 230 miles. And one of the guys who made that decision and many more about the race joins me now. Mike Keyport is president of the Beargrease Board of Directors. Welcome.
Hi, Bailey. Thanks for being up here at the Grand Portage Lodge and Casino, watching this thing finish up.
It has been a fun day, and of course it's been an interesting journey to get here. But how are you feeling just overall about the 40th running of the race?
You know, really good. Us organizers, the mushers, the spectators, our great media folk, we all get excited when this thing comes.
Yeah.
And although we had a bit of I'll use the word challenging last week, we had to make some pretty split-minute decisions. Some things didn't happen. We didn't have time to get a shuttle bus, although we still had a pretty good group of spectators at that. The mushers were telling me there was spectators down there 1.5 miles at least, down headed north out of Two Harbors. It was pretty amazing, and they like that too.
Yeah.
We like our spectators.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 40th running was supposed to be last year, of course. That race had to be canceled altogether. Yeah. So how does it feel to be at the finish line, have the majority of mushers through here in Grand Portage?
Oh, you know what? 40th. Wow. We planned for this race for, it seems like for so long. It seemed much longer than 2 years, and doing all the things we had to do to make it happen. The comments I've heard from mushers were like, oh, thank you for letting us race, and for us as an organization for letting them race the 40th running of this race. So to me, it's wonderful. You know how long I've been involved with this thing. Yes. and what a great experience, and just a great day.
Right. And of course, John Beargrease comes from, or you come from John Beargrease's lineage too, so it has to be a little bit extra special there.
I think so. I think John Beargrease would be pretty amazed that we pulled off this race on his old stomping grounds, I'll call it, for 40 runnings of this race through many different changes over the years, and we make it happen. Somebody said during the week, they said, it's going to come together, Mike.
Yeah.
And it did.
It did. It always does, one way or another, definitely. So the race is getting close to wrapping up here. How can people continue to track what's going on with the Beargrease throughout the year?
Well, of course, our beargrease.com is our go-to website. Because we had to move it, we lost some of our tracking volunteers, which is huge. So then it comes back down on our webmaster, and he pulled it together too at the last minute with 3-minute interval changes and many other things.
Right.
But it worked. It worked in the long run. You know, this is a year-round commitment for us as a board of directors. We always want new board members. We always want volunteers. We always want new sponsors. So please reach out and join us. This is you have no idea how fun this is out here. You just don't. Even though you don't get no sleep and goofy stuff like that, but it's all under the bridge now. So.
I was laughing as they were handing out Mardi Gras beads to some of the finishers this afternoon. I said this race gets weirder and weirder as it goes along.
Right on, yeah, for sure.
But that makes it fun. Well, thank you for your time. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting some sleep tonight.
Yes, I think that'll happen.
Good deal. All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it. And a team of veterinarians is taking care of these dogs over all 267 miles. Next, the head vet will join us to talk about how the mushers kept the canine athletes healthy. Well, the Beargrease is one of a few major sled dog races happening right now. The Iditarod is also on. That race also had to make changes due to a lack of snow, even up in Alaska. They shortened the ceremonial start route through Anchorage, and then they also moved the official starting line to Fairbanks. A couple people that Northland mushing fans will be watching are Quince Mountain of Wisconsin, former Beargrease and Iditarod champion Ryan Reddington, and Duluthian Emily Ford, who is a rookie in the race this year. Well, Katie Nishek has been working her tail off, pun fully intended, as the head veterinarian since vet checks really on Saturday. So welcome to the lift.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So tell me a little bit first just about what this team of veterinarians has been doing over the last 3 days.
We have basically been caring for all of the dogs that are involved in the race. Like you said, from the pre-race checks all the way till after they cross the finish line, basically till tomorrow morning, they're under our care.
Well, when you think about how many teams there are in each race, maybe up to 12 dogs on each of those teams, that's a lot of dogs that you've seen.
It is, yes, it is. Sometimes it's upwards of over 500 dogs that are involved. Yeah.
So I know there were concerns, of course, about the heat going into this race, also a lack of snow. So give me a general overview of just what you all have seen as veterinarians.
Absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, which is amazing. I definitely was worried about the temperatures. We were worried about the trail, and I would say the mushers blew it out of the water, took such good care of their dogs, and we saw nothing really unusual out of the ordinary. On the race.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Are they asking you for advice in these kinds of situations, or are you just sort of kind of consulting with them about what to do out on the trail?
Yeah, it's a little bit of consulting. They know so much about all their dogs, each and every one of them. But sometimes, they have questions about medical things and or lameness, orthopedic exams, that sort of stuff. So we're definitely helping them make the best decisions for their dogs along the trail.
Yeah, they're happy to see you come along and offer advice, I'm sure. It's not adversarial or anything.
No, absolutely not.
One thing that I think is interesting is just how much these dogs have to eat and drink during a race like this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, they burn so many calories when they're running like this, and the kind of rhetoric or the common number that we use is like 10,000 calories in a day in a 24-hour period. So they are constantly snacking, they are constantly eating, and that also gives them a little time to rest at the same time. So they're getting a little bit of both during the race on the trail.
Sled dogs are pretty lean. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes people expect to see these big, fluffy huskies out there on the trail. But just talk about, their size and how that works to their advantage when they are out there.
Yeah. We're seeing, there's kind of a range in sizes. Sometimes you'll see like a really petite little 40-pound little female like hauling. And sometimes you see like the bigger dogs, more like the freight style dogs and stuff too. But in general, they're kind of medium-sized dogs. they benefit from being really lean, lots of muscle, and that helps with their endurance when they don't have to carry extra weight, down the trail.
So interesting. Well, I know the vet team is definitely appreciated out there and helps everyone at home feel good and knowing that the dogs are being well taken care of.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you, and we're really happy to be here. My team is fantastic, and they do such a great job.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thanks, Katie. We appreciate it. Up next, we are getting up close and personal with Tacoma and Ollie, the cougars at the Lake Superior Zoo, as they enjoy one of their favorite foods. Well, welcome back to Grand Portage and the finish line of the John Beargrease Sled Dog Marathon. We're taking a quick break from sled dogs to meet a couple big cats. Here's in otter news.
Hi, pretty girl. My name is Kelly, and I'm a zookeeper here at the Lake Superior Zoo, and today we're going to be training cougars. Hi, Tacoma. Are you excited? There's Ollie. So the one walking up is Ollie. She's our female. She and Tacoma are twins. They're both about 6 years old. As you can see, Tacoma is larger. He has a bigger head, and Ollie has a smaller head, and she's like the prettiest cougar you've ever seen in your life. Tacoma is very handsome, but Ollie is definitely the model in the family. So we're training them with chicken today, which is one of their favorite foods. You wanna do some fun stuff? Tacoma, up. Good. All the way up. Good boy. Cougars are native to Minnesota, which a lot of people don't know because you don't see cougars very often in Minnesota. Hi, Ollie. Even though they're one of the most widespread cat species out there, you can find them all the way from Canada, all the way down to Patagonia. What are you doing, you little weirdo? Ah, good. Tacoma's definitely the bossier out of the two. He's very much a brother. He doesn't like to share. So usually when I train them, this is what it looks like, where Tacoma will be here and then Ollie will just be off to the side being like, please, I want to train. Pa. Good. Pa. Good. Come here, little lady. You gotta move faster than that, Ollie. Good girl. You wanna show me your teeth? Open. Do a better one. Tacoma, open. Good. They also know how to stick out their tongue. They know how to show us their paws. Tacoma, tongue. Tongue. That's open. Open. Good. You ready, Tacoma? Tacoma, up. Good. He's so chatty today. Tacoma, talk. Good. Can you give Ollie some while you're distracted? Come here, Ollie. Good girl. She really wants to train. It is very rewarding for them. It's one of their favorite things to do, and it's also one of the best ways for us to build trust with the cougars. Tacoma, talk. Good. Here you go, Ollie. Good girl. They have a really fascinating story because, yeah. You're so rude to her, Tacoma. We got them when they were young. I think around like 3 months old is when we got them here at the zoo because their mother had unfortunately passed away. So they were on their own and they were causing trouble. They were causing a lot of issues in like farmland and kind of terrorizing livestock and stuff like that because they were two young cougar cubs without a mom. And the DNR had asked us if we wanted to take them in. And we said yes, and we've had them here ever since. You little stinker. You're just such a little troublemaker. They have a 18-foot vertical leap. So if they wanted to, they could jump 18 feet straight in the air, which is why their exhibit is meshed in. They have really strong, powerful teeth. I'm sure you've seen Tacoma's big fangs while he's been chatting up a storm. Yeah, there he goes. Tacoma, tongue. No, tongue. You can do it. You did it before. A common question that I get about cougars is what they're actually called. They have a lot of different names that people call them depending on what area of the world they're in. But if you've heard of a cougar, you've also heard of a puma, a mountain lion, a ghost cat, a mountain screamer, red tigers, red lions. They have a lot of names. Tacoma, talk. Good. Tacoma, tongue. Tongue. Good. Be nice to your sister. Ollie. Good. Ollie. Good. That was very good, Tacoma. Very polite. I'm very proud of you, sir. All right, cougars, all done.
Well, we hope the last half hour here brought you a lift. It was a joy to be back on the Beargrease Trail this year. We're waiting on 3 more mushers to come in throughout the evening. So I'll be joining the 5 and WDIO News at 6, and we'll have more of the day's top headlines coming up on the 5.